in this day and age of war and such, well, you've got your rifles, you got your machine guns, but in the end, a soldier's best friend is his pistol. Hey everybody, it's me, Schluge here, and yeah, we're back with another top 5, and this time we're doing firearms, because apparently everyone wanted to know my favorite type, because, well, everyone knows I'm a first-person shooter guy, so I've decided to basically, tell my top 5 favorite firearms, and, well, to basically do what we've been doing this whole formula is we're going to go down by category, so we're starting off with pistols, and then we're going to move into rifles, submachine guns, and even then we're going to be even more diverse with it because I am a preppy pooch who likes a whole lot of stuff. So, yeah. But, yeah, I'm going to get rid of this because I'm not a Beretta guy. So, we're going to go down to the top 5. And just so you all know, these are my personal favorites. We're putting this disclaimer in the way. These are not by my choice the best firearms in the world. These are just my personal favorites of my own opinion. So please, please, please don't start any flame wars in the comments talking about basically how this pistol's the worst or this pistol's the best or yada yada yada. Or do so, I really don't care. Just be cordial. That's all I ask. Anyway, also, before we get this video started, and the main reason I'm in a green screen room is because, well, my girlfriend, Ven, has opened up art commissions. Yes, very cheap, very affordable art commissions at very reasonable prices. And just note, if you've seen any of her previous work in the past, which you should have in previous streams and even in my Discord, she does top-notch work. So everything's right here, and there's actually a link to the Twitter post, because that's the best way to get in contact with her, down below in the description, and it's going to be in that way in all these future top 5 videos until she closes commissions or such. So, yeah, we're going to quit yakking at this point. We're going to get down to my top 5, so let's get this started. Number 5. Okay, we're starting off with probably a lot of hate. This is the Stechkin, the APS Stechkin. And I'm already starting off with Russians. Oh, this is not going to end well for me. Okay, so what is this pistol? Well, this actually is a very unknown pistol. Not a lot of people know about this gun. It's popular in some movies, TV shows, anime, and video games, but not a lot of people know this gun. Not unless you're into games like Tarkov or anime like Black Lagoon or so on and so forth. It actually did make a recent appearance under a new name in the newest Call of Duty, and I've fallen in love with it. But what is it? Well, it's a machine pistol. It's a 9x18. Basically, the Soviets were looking around, and most of their police force, it started out as a police pistol. And basically, the police wanted a little extra firepower than their little Makarovs could handle, which is understandable if you know the Makarov. It's small, it's tiny, it's 9x18. It's not that much firepower. So basically, they went to the armaments industry, I guess, and basically just said, we need better pistol than Makarov. And I guess they took it as, okay, then we'll just build bigger Makarov that goes pew, 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 pew. So that's basically what this is. It's a full auto Makarov. It's a select fire Makarov. And it's weird. And I love it. Why? Because it's a full auto Makarov. And it's such a great idea of a gun. Also, the fact that its holster also doubles as its stock, since I love that idea of the stock doubling as the holster. It puts a feeling in me that I just love. And plus, when you're packing 20 rounds of 9x18, the 9x18, it's a puny fucking round, but when 20 of them are heading towards you at high velocity, it really don't matter how puny it is, it gonna hurt. So yeah, the APS, it's the good old Stechkin, a Cold War classic, and boy howdy do I love it. Now that that's out of the way, number 4. And the Teaboos get their day. This is the Webley. Oh boy. One British gun had to end up on my list. I mean, seriously. It's the fucking Webley. This thing is a master, and this thing just won't die. Nothing can kill this pistol. It's impossible. So many people have used it, so many countries have used it, and for so fucking long, this thing is immortal. This thing will probably be around when even I'm long dead and dust. What hasn't this thing done? It was fighting in the golden age of the scramble for Africa, if you can even call it a golden age. Ugh. Not a good time. Not a good time in Africa. The Rains weren't happy down there around the age of colonialism for good reason. But then also, it's not done yet. It's also going to fight in World War I, World War II, Korea. Oh, and by the way, some of them are definitely going to show up in the hands of the Aussies during Vietnam. Oh, and what? We're still finding these in fucking Afghanistan? Well, we were still finding them in Afghanistan and Iraq. They're making them in caves in the Khyber Pass. What can kill this pistol? It's immortal. It's unstoppable. And it's a classic. It's a classic that will not let you down. It's a classic double-action revolver in a decently powerful caliber. It's simple. It's easy. It's old reliable. It's the one pistol you want in your arsenal just in case everything else fails. And I want one. I would love a Webley. Especially if I could find one that was chambered in 45 APC. And yes, they did make those. They were rare and a little funky, but in modern days with some modern tech, we've been able to get them to work. And I want one. I want one very badly, just in case. This is your pistol of last resort, because you know it will never let you down. And how can you not love it? Everyone's loved this, from explorers to soldiers to everyone. To even Dr. Watson. But yeah, the good old Webley in any of its variants. Now, number 3. I am pissing off a lot of Old West enthusiasts right now for choosing this one. Why? Because it's not the Colt single action army. And that's part of the reason why I picked this. This is the Remington 1858 New Model Army. And it is... What can I say about this pistol? It really revolutionized how we were building pistols. It really revolutionized. So basically, before this pistol, when we were starting to get into the revolvers, the big issue was we were still a cap and ball idea of a military. It was black powder, the ball, and then the cap for, well, the ignition source, because we'd moved away from flintlocks and now we were onto caps. So here's the problem, though, especially with revolvers. Since we're still on that idea, no cartridges. So the big thing with these early pistols were you had to actually load each cylinder by hand. That is what that little lever right there is for. In fact, there's a picture of it right here of what the levers used to look like. And basically, that's how you'd load it. You'd pour your powder into the cylinder, put the piece of cloth, then the bullet, and then you ram it down with that little hammer. And yeah, that was not quick. That was not quick at all. So they came up with this idea of a pistol. It was still had the traditional idea of loading, but here was the cool thing about it. The cylinder was more easily removable. Now, before you went out, you could preload a lot of these things say at home, in your barracks, wherever you were, and then you could carry a set of these cylinders, of these loaded cylinders, in your belt, in your pants, in your pocket, in your bag. And when you fired off all 6 shots of your first cylinder, you could just unplug it and you could basically remove the empty cylinder and pop in a fresh one. It was the first of its kind, and it paved the way for a lot. This was the first, honestly, I could call this the first attempt at magazine loading weapons. And a lot of other pistols did do this, but this one was the one that made it easier. In older models, you'd have to basically disassemble the gun, like fully remove the barrel. This one just allowed you to just remove the cylinder and boom. And not only that, later on, this pistol was actually up for conversions to cartridges and made it so much simpler with that action. So it's really one of those Old West guns that really got left behind because the single action army. God made man equal. God made man, but Sam Colt made him equal. Yada, 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 yada. The single action army, a fine pistol, damn good, but God, are the people that love it just pretentious at times. We get it. It's a good pistol. It revolutionized the world. But there's just something about this old girl. The one that was left behind. The girl I left behind me. The Remington New Model Army. Give the girl some love. Right, I vented enough about this. Number 2. Come on, let me hear it. Let me hear it. Let me go. Go on. Let me hear it. Let me hear it. My 2 world wars. You're a freedom boo. Blah, blah, blah. 45, the round of God. Blah, blah, blah. I get it. I get it. I get it. It's been told to me over and over and over and over again. The 1911. How can you not? Number 1, it is America's firearm. This is the gun that truly brought us into the modern age and modernized our army, equipped soldiers, and it became their best friend. Created by the legendary man himself, John Moses Browning. Oh, praise he. Don't judge me. If you get into guns, you'll do that too. Especially once you realize how much of a fucking genius this man was. But anyway, the 1911. Such an iconic, such a simple, such an easy firearm, chambered in a powerful fucking round. And note, the reason we wanted this fucking round is because before then, we were using 38s, and that couldn't do shit. So, basically, they... Call this inhumane as you want, but this is actually a true story. They first tested bullets to figure out how quickly certain rounds could kill cows. I'm not joking, and yes, is it barbaric and brutal? Abso-fucking-lutely. But that was how they did it back then. I don't like it, but it's how it was done. But yeah, basically they're like, if you can kill a cow in one shot, boom, that's our pistol round. And, 45 met the bill. So the competition went off, and it was actually kind of crazy because this actually competed with the Luger to become our primary pistol of service. And the Luger almost won, except it wasn't chambered in 45. So Hiram Luger, it was Mr. Luger. I'll just call him Mr. Luger. Mr. Luger actually went back to Germany and actually made a Luger in 45, but by the time he got it finished, we had already selected the 1911 as our standard service pistol. Kind of a missed opportunity, I think, because the Luger is a damn good gun, but in the end, John Moses Browning. I mean, Luger's a great man, but he's only known for his pistol. Meanwhile, John Moses, well, he's going to show up a bit more in these videos if you know what I'm talking about. But yeah. 1911, 2 world wars, still fucking kicking. Like the Webley, this is going to be around long after we're all dead and dust. Maybe not this model, but models like it. We're still making copies in their own variants to this day, even in the puny, pathetic 9mm. Fight me. But yeah, enough of me going off on the 1911. And now I'm probably going to piss off a lot of people because this ain't number one. Well, I've pissed off people because it's both on my list and the fact that it's not number one on my list. You can never win with some people, can you? Number one. Oh boy, I sense problems in my future. Ooh, this is going to be problemsome. This is the Mauser C96, and it is my favorite pistol of all time. I'm sorry. This gun to me is everything. This is everything a handgun should be. It's easy to produce, easy to use. It was the first pistol, semi-automatic pistol, that could be mass produced in incredible quantities. It served everywhere. It's literally been everywhere. Germany, England, Italy, Russia, the US, Mexico. Mexico had hundreds of these. And its most prolifically, let's talk about other ones. Japan, Korea. Yeah, Korea actually uses, did they? Well, they were Japanese stock, so yeah, Korea. China used these pistols. China was flooded with these pistols. So many people. Oh my God, these things in China, like, they were built in Germany. They were definitely honored, but in Germany. But they made their name in China. Because, well, basically, so during the warlord eras of China, weapons imports were really, really tough to do. But both because the world was reeling from the peace process, which was a total fucking mess. Thanks, France, for the Treaty of Versailles and all that bullshit. So, certain arms could not make it into China, mainly full-size rifles. They couldn't import a lot of full-size rifles. They could, however, bring in a lot of pistol caliber weapons. That's why you see a lot of Chinese, like if you look back and find pictures of Chinese soldiers, you'll find them armed with guns like the Thompson, the MP-18, and so on and so forth. So they actually started using a lot of these pistols, and they started using them as actual, like, standard weapons. Why? Well, going back to the Stechkin, the fucking holster doubled as the stock. So this became a pretty effective carbine. And it's just a fucking reliable weapon. Though it does have its flaws, like number one being that it is stripper clip loaded. Well, the main models are. There were some models, specifically more famously, the M712 Schnellfire. I hope I pronounced that correctly, which was a fully automatic machine pistol variant, which did come with its own magazines, which I would fucking love. But overall, honestly, it's a pistol that honestly like, if we really wanted to rework it a lot, it could make a comeback in the modern age. Pistols are really easy to like get into the modern era because they haven't really like fundamentally, they haven't changed that much in over 100 years. And the C96 is even more proof of that. And it's so I love the idea. I love the idea of a forward-loading magazine. It's just such an iconic weapon. It's the gun that brought the world out of the age of the revolver and into the age of the semi-autos. It's the one that got the gas going. No pun intended. And honestly, I freaking love it. I would love one. I would love to get one as pristine and clean. And specifically, I would want I hope I'm pronouncing this right. You know what? I'm just going to go by its designation, by its standard designation. The Type 17. This is a C96 made in China during the warlord era. So, yeah, it actually was made pretty well. But it was chambered in 45 ACP. I want one of these. But they're so fucking hard to find. These things are like finding gold. Oh, fuck, I want one. I want one so bad. Bro, honestly, you can't get any better than a C96. I love them to death. Well, that wraps it up. Feel free to roast me down below in the comments, because Tembuck says I didn't have a lot of your favorites on here, and I probably pissed off a lot of Glock fanboys, 1911 fanboys, probably a lot of Browning high-powered fanboys. Those guys are going to be a pain in the ass to deal with. And I probably pissed off a lot of Luger fanboys. Oh boy, this is not going to be a fun set of comments to read. Anyway, doesn't matter. In the end, I still had fun with this. Next up, I think we'll do SMGs next. So yeah, thank you all for watching. And as always, well, I'll see you guys all in the next video.